If you run a commercial HVAC business, you already know that the job doesn't end when the unit's running again. It's at the end that you're going to get paid. And in commercial HVAC, that can be 60, 90, and sometimes 120 days later. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you move up from residential into commercial HVAC. It's not slower because your techs are slower. It's slower because most of the steps in a commercial HVAC job doesn't belong to you. They belong to your customer. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire reactive service loop for a commercial HVAC business in 2026, from the call landing to the money clearing. 9 steps, and I'm going to show you exactly which ones you control, which ones you don't, and where the money actually leaks out. And to make this useful instead of theoretical, at the end of every section, I'm going to give you one thing to fix in that step, not a list of 10, one. We'll go in order: how the call arrives, acceptance and dispatch, and the two numbers that govern the job, the quote and approval cycle, parts, the completion gate, invoicing, and where AI actually helps in 2026. And this whole thing costs you more when it's broken. So let's get started with the front door. In residential, work arrives one way. The phone rings or someone just contacts you from your website, and the channels are different, but the work just arrives in a traditional standard way. In commercial HVAC, there are two doors and they are completely different animals. Door 1 is a phone call. A property manager or a chief engineer calls you directly, and they just say, hey, no cooling on 14th. You know that this one. So basically that's the first road which comes in, which is the manual road. And now the second one, which is door 2, is the one that catches people off guard. Your customer files a work order in their system, a CMMS like ServiceChannel or Corrigo, and it shows up on your board with their reference number attached. They never call you. There's no conversation. There's just a ticket. So as you can see on my screen, there's two sources. One is a CMMS and one is a manual. And then once the work order is here, this is where the game actually starts. Now the ticket comes in with rules, ServiceChannel, and this is straight out of their own provided documentation, runs every work order through a 4-stage ladder: open, in progress, completed, and invoiced. But underneath the in progress, there's a whole subset of statuses, as you can see on my screen. It starts from dispatch confirmed, on-site, parts on order, waiting for quote, waiting for approval, and proposal approved. Look at this list again. Every one of these is a checkpoint your customers can see. Your job isn't to fix the RTU, it's to keep that ticket honest in their system in near real time. And now here's where operators get hurt. If your software treats a CMMS ticket and a phone call the same kind of a record, you lose the reference number, and that reference number is what your customer accounts or payable department matches your invoice against. So the one thing to fix here is make sure that the CMMS reference number is captured on the record at intake, not typed into a notes field, an actual field you can search and put on an invoice. If it lives in someone's memory or sticky note, you will leave that. So that's the first thing. As I said, a request comes in, you take all the source ID and every single piece of thing which is required, and then if you take the work order reference number as a custom property in FieldCamp, then that will be automatically tracked, as you can see on the bottom right of my screen. So as you can see, we have two work orders. It's the same trade, same building, same customer, two different front doors. And notice the first stage isn't scheduled, it's dispatch confirmed. And in commercial, the work exists before you agree to it. And accepting in its own is a step, and it's timed because the SLA needs to be fulfilled. So here's the whole video. Let's say someone calls you at a Monday, 7 in the morning, 14th floor of a beacon tower, and it's a law firm with no cooling since Friday. So what you are going to do? In residential HVAC software, these fields don't exist. In residential software, you will just have something like, for example, a client CRM, where you can just go and you will see all the notes and everything which is there. The good thing about FieldCamp, FieldCamp is a customizable commercial HVAC CRM. So over here, we can store everything, which is who are the contacts for this particular property group. Then what are the sites that we have contract under this property group. So if I go under sites, and then if I say the Beacon Tower downtown, which we just got the ticket from, over here, I'm able to get all the details, like who is my site contact, what are my clients, that belong to this property, which is like what is the parent location, and then what equipment has been installed at this particular site, what agreements I have, sub locations, and any related fields. So I can go one step deeper as well. I can add something like units. So sites will have units, and each unit will belong to one of the customers as well. So it's up to you how you want to shape the FieldCamp. But over here, what we have done is we have made it simple. So let's say a request comes in. A request can be someone from the Beacon property group, as I said, and then they are just requesting a service. Now what's going to happen? You are going to schedule this ticket on a calendar, and when you schedule it, why do you have to schedule it? Because you are going to send your technician on the site. They are going to evaluate what's the problem, and then they are going to make a quote. And if they don't make a quote, they might require a part. So they are going to order a part, or they are going to wait for approval. The ticket is on the quote approvals stage from a customer end or from the property manager's end. It depends who you are going to be sending that quote to, but you are going to be waiting for one of them, and then ultimately that quote gets converted into a job. But there's one twist over here in this workflow. You are still going to be invoicing the diagnostic visit. So what you should be able to do is you should be able to make the invoice for the accounts payable department of the property, and you are going to say it's a commercial diagnostic call out fee, and then what's any additional things that you have actually done. You have to send this invoice to the accounts payable department of the site manager, or to the main Beacon group's account payable. Depends on what your workflow and how your commercial business works. And this is why no commercial HVAC business has the same workflow, because it depends on the clients that they work with. Some property owners are like, hey, send it to the property manager. Someone is like, hey, send it to the centralized billing department. So it really depends on where your work is getting billed at. Here is another step where things can get tricky. Once your person is on the site, now you are going to say they have to order the parts, or there will be some rules like if it's under 2500, the techs can do the repair themselves, or then they will need to send it for approval. How do you make some automations and workflow guides around this? This is where FieldCamp's workflow module is useful. In the workflow automation, what you can do is you can set up some workflows like when the status changes to parts on order, take what parts are needed from the technician, and then create a purchase order in the inventory, so that remind the office staff that, hey, this purchase order needs your attention. But if it's a different kind of a workflow, which is just like, hey, now we have a quote which needs to be made and sent, then what are you going to do? Then it's simple. The technician can do their assessment. They can enter what details are needed. They can write in the notes or anything which is needed, and you will just go to the estimates. You will see what estimate you want to make. Why are the things specifically it needs approval? It's more than 2500, and you are going to send it to the Beacon Property Group Accounts Payable Department as the last time. Now, so just recapping what we talked about. First of all, the entire commercial structure of who is reporting to who is taken care of, and that's very important because you know who pays the bill. So you have a client who have sites have equipment have service agreements, and then you are doing some projects here and there. Then you have someone from your CMMS system coming in, a ticket comes in. Through the integration, it comes directly into the request board, where a technician or a salesperson, whoever it is, they go on a site, they do their assessment, and they change the status to say, hey, now we need to make a quote on this, or now we need to order parts on this. Through some kind of a workflow automation in FieldCamp, either a purchase order is created, or based on you, if you use like a AI agent which takes the notes or voice notes from the technician's analysis, automatically creates an estimate for your team to review, then you can do that as well. Once this request has been approved, your quote has been approved, you can check the estimate statuses as well. Once it has been approved, it becomes a job. Now what's a job? Job is basically when the work will be actually executed, and then you can say that, hey, what is this job scheduled for? This job is scheduled for the Beacon Tower downtown location. And when is it scheduled? What's the things that needs to be done, all the line items that carry forward from the estimate itself. what are the assets that if there's any assets like related invoices, it can be shown over here as well. And what are the related records, so who are we doing all this work for? So you can tie specific sites, specific projects, specific equipment to this job as well. So you can be as specific, and all history is tied to a main client location and it is not going anywhere else. Now once you do this job, for example, the technician will have left the notes and stuff for whatever work they needed to complete. Once the notes and everything are on the system, now it's another round of invoicing. So basically the another round of invoicing is pretty simple as well. You'll just convert this into an invoice, and then whoever it is billed for, their accounts payable department, will get the invoice as well, and the invoice will be the same thing. So it's for the Beacon Property Group, and it's for the accounts payable department, and whatever work was scoped over here will be right here. So look at the shape of that. There is an intake, there is acceptance, there is a ceiling, then there is something like parts being ordered or some customized to your workflow, how your business operates. So if you have a parts that needs to be ordered, or if you want quote approval, whatever it is, then a ticket comes in, an inspection or the first visit is done, it's converted into an estimate and a preliminary invoice, then it's converted to a job. And all of this, the hierarchy of the data, who it is for, it's for this location, like this specific unit which belongs to this property, which belongs to this client, and accounts payable department is this, is maintained throughout end to end. Now this is just a glimpse of what is possible in FieldCamp. We didn't show you the workflow automation module, we didn't show you the AI agents that can be built on top of this workflow. This is the classic simple workflow that no other software will fulfill if your operations are highly customized commercial HVAC ops. Thank you.